Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today, we've got some crucial news you don't want to miss. Let's dive right into the top financial headlines and break down what's happening. Why mortgage rates aren't dropping despite Fed cuts. Let's dive into a report by the Wall Street Journal that addresses a puzzling issue. Why don't mortgage rates drop when the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates? This question frustrates many Americans and might also intrigue readers worldwide, as similar dynamics could affect other countries. Traditional economic theory struggles to explain this phenomenon. According to the Wall Street Journal, since the Fed reduced interest rates by 50 basis points in September, followed by another 25 basis points in November, consumers have not seen mortgage rates follow suit. Instead of decreasing, the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate has risen by half a percentage point, reaching 6.79%. The disconnect between Fed cuts and mortgage rates. While the Fed's goal in cutting rates is to lower borrowing costs for things like homes and cars, mortgage rates are not directly controlled by the Federation. Instead, they are influenced by the yields on U.S. Treasury bonds, which fluctuate based on economic expectations. Recent increases in 10-year Treasury yield suggest that mortgage rates may climb even higher. One key factor is the strong correlation between mortgage rates and long-term Treasury yields, rather than the Fed's benchmark rate. This disconnect challenges the assumption that a Fed rate cut will automatically lead to cheaper mortgages. Why Treasury yields are rising. The Wall Street Journal links this trend to political and economic factors, particularly the impact of Donald Trump's policies. Following Trump's election, Treasury yields began climbing as investors anticipated higher deficits, economic growth, and inflation due to his tax cut agenda. Rising inflation expectations and higher tariffs also contribute to upward pressure on yields. John Taxillo, head of lending at Raymond James, noted that persistent price increases are unavoidable, even with Fed rate cuts. He emphasized that a real decline in mortgage rates would require signs of economic weakness, which are currently absent in the U.S. economy. Consumer impact and housing market challenges. Despite Fed rate cuts, overall borrowing costs remain stubbornly high. For example, credit card rates tend to lag behind the Fed's changes, and mortgage rates show little responsiveness. Many consumers still believe lower Fed rates should reduce borrowing costs, influencing decisions like buying a car or a home. However, rising mortgage rates have dampened home sales and refinancing activity. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, mortgage applications have declined for 6 consecutive weeks. Home buyers like Tristan and his wife in Dallas face a tough market where home prices have nearly doubled in recent years, making it challenging to buy or sell homes under current conditions. The broader implications of high home prices. Another Wall Street Journal report highlights a related issue. For many Americans, homes have become piggy banks that don't generate real profits. While home prices have soared, most homeowners can't access this wealth because selling their homes often means buying another at equally high prices. Older homeowners are the exception. Many middle-class retirees sell their homes to downsize or rent affordable senior living spaces, allowing them to benefit from rising property values. This phenomenon is somewhat universal, offering a perspective relevant to global readers. Looking ahead. As 2024 draws to a close, the U.S. housing market shows little hope of normalization. Current home prices remain higher than the peak before the 2008 financial crisis, creating a frustrating paradox for buyers and sellers alike. This complex interaction between Fed policy, mortgage rates, and the housing market underscores the challenges facing consumers and policymakers. While some trends may be unique to the U.S., the broader implications of high borrowing costs and unaffordable housing resonate across the globe. Next, 2 major nominations by President-elect Donald Trump are making headlines, drawing sharp reactions from political circles and the public. Let's explore the details, as reported by Reuters and the Wall Street Journal. Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. According to Reuters, Trump's decision to appoint Tulsi Gabbard as the Director of National Intelligence, DNI, has rattled the intelligence community. Gabbard, a former Democratic congresswoman, has minimal intelligence experience and is known for controversial positions on Russia and Syria. Critics fear her appointment signals Trump's preference for loyalty over qualifications in shaping his second-term administration. Gabbard's political stances have long been divisive. Within her own party, and even among Republicans, she has faced criticism for her outspoken support of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, whom she met in 2017 despite the US severing diplomatic ties with Syria. She has also been accused of echoing Russian propaganda. One example is her widely criticized post on X, formerly Twitter, where she alleged the US operated 25 biological labs in Ukraine, an unfounded conspiracy theory that echoes narratives promoted by Chinese state media during the early stages of the Russia-Ukraine war. The Senate confirmation process for Gabbard's nomination is expected to be contentious, with observers questioning whether her controversial record will secure enough support. RFK Jr. as Secretary of Health and Human Services. In another bold move, Trump has nominated Robert F. Kennedy Jr., an environmental lawyer and prominent vaccine skeptic, to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS. This announcement sent shockwaves through the pharmaceutical industry, with top vaccine manufacturers seeing significant drops in their stock values. Pfizer stock fell 2.6% yesterday, wiping out $4 billion in market value, followed by another 3% decline today. German biotech company BioNTech and US-based Moderna also faced sharp losses, while European vaccine makers like Denmark's Bavarian Nordic plunged 17%. Other major pharmaceutical companies, including AstraZeneca, GlaxoSmithKline, and Sanofi, saw declines of more than 3%. Kennedy has pledged sweeping reforms to the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and federally funded research institutions. He recently announced plans to dismantle the FDA's nutrition division, stating that employees should prepare to pack their bags. He has also opposed adding fluoride to public water supplies, a standard practice in most countries for public health. While Kennedy insists he is not anti-vaccine, he has called for greater transparency in vaccine safety data. His views often conflict with mainstream public health officials, particularly on topics like water fluoridation and abortion. For instance, he supports banning abortion after the first trimester. Dr. Paul Offit, an infectious disease specialist at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, described Kennedy as a science denier, though he acknowledged that Kennedy's aggressive stance against pharmaceutical giants could disrupt entrenched monopolies. Public reaction and implications. Kennedy's appointment has sparked mixed reactions. On one hand, his push to challenge Big Pharma's high drug prices resonates with critics of the industry. However, concerns remain about whether his controversial views belong in a role that oversees critical public health policies. As one observer noted, Kennedy's reformist zeal could inject much-needed disruption into the healthcare system, but his personal beliefs may hinder effective governance. This balance between shaking up entrenched systems and introducing polarizing views highlights the challenges of such high-profile appointments. The broader takeaway: Trump's nominations of Gabbard and Kennedy reflect a willingness to challenge the status quo, but they also raise questions about the qualifications and ideologies of those chosen to lead critical government agencies. The coming weeks will reveal whether these controversial picks can navigate the confirmation process and gain public trust. The third topic I share with you today is Trump's controversial nominees face Senate hurdles. President-elect Donald Trump's recent nominations for key government roles, including Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Secretary of Health and Human Services, have sparked heated debates. With significant resistance in the Senate, Trump has been strategizing ways to overcome these challenges, as detailed by The Economist and The Wall Street Journal. Controversy surrounding Trump's picks. Many of Trump's appointees face steep opposition. Gaetz, in particular, has been a lightning rod for criticism due to allegations of misconduct, including accusations involving a minor, which were substantiated by testimony to a House Ethics Committee investigation. This controversy, combined with resistance from at least 4 Republican senators, threatens his confirmation. Similarly, Gabbard and Kennedy face scrutiny over their contentious political stances. Gabbard's perceived pro-Russia and pro-Assad positions raise bipartisan concerns, while Kennedy's anti-vaccine rhetoric and proposed radical reforms to public health policies have unsettled both parties. Trump's strategy: recess appointments. Aware of the challenges, Trump is reportedly considering leveraging the constitutional mechanism of recess appointments to bypass Senate confirmation. Recess appointments allow the president to fill vacancies temporarily while Congress is in recess, lasting until the end of the next congressional session. Historically, this tool has been used by presidents to navigate Senate opposition. Bill Clinton made 139 recess appointments. George H.W. Bush used the mechanism 171 times. Even Harry Truman and George W. Bush frequently relied on this option. However, the use of recess appointments has been increasingly restricted in recent years. Senate leaders, both Democratic and Republican, have adopted a strategy to block these appointments by holding pro forma sessions, brief meetings every few days during recess periods to technically keep the Senate in session. This tactic was notably employed during George W. Bush's and Barack Obama's presidencies, severely limiting their ability to use recess appointments. Challenges to Trump's plan. Trump's desire to use recess appointments is far from guaranteed. Several obstacles stand in his way. Internal Republican opposition. Senate Republican leader John Thune, recently elected to his role, has already signaled resistance to Trump's plans. Thune stated that any recess appointments would only be considered if no Republicans opposed the nominations, effectively barring Trump from using this method for highly controversial figures like Gates. With at least 4 Republican senators already opposing Gates' nomination, this strategy seems untenable. Senate rules and Democratic resistance. Senate rules require bipartisan agreement for extended recesses lasting more than 3 days. This means Democrats could easily block the Senate from entering the prolonged recesses needed for Trump to make these appointments. Without cooperation from Democrats, Trump's recess appointment strategy could be rendered ineffective. Public and institutional pushback. Public opinion and institutional norms also weigh heavily. Nominating polarizing figures like Gates, who faces ethical and legal controversies, risks alienating moderate Republicans and galvanizing bipartisan opposition. A battle of rules and strategy. The standoff highlights the intricate maneuvering in Washington's political arena. Both Trump and his opponents are adept at exploiting procedural rules to their advantage. Trump is pushing for unconventional solutions to seat his nominees, while Senate leaders are using every tool available to uphold the confirmation process. This unfolding drama underscores the tension between executive ambitions and legislative oversight. It remains to be seen whether Trump will find a path to install his chosen nominees or if the Senate's checks and balances will prevail. Regardless of the outcome, the battle offers a fascinating glimpse into the mechanics of U.S. governance and the interplay of power within its institutions. Finally, we share 2 pieces of news about Argentine President Milei. Bloomberg recently reported on a somewhat theatrical diplomatic effort by French President Emmanuel Macron. Ahead of the upcoming G20 summit, Macron plans to visit Argentina to persuade its president, Javier Milei, not to fully adopt Donald Trump's worldview. According to the report, Macron aims to encourage Milei to support the existing international order and environmental consensus. A French official emphasized the urgency of this plea, citing Trump's skepticism of multilateralism and his disregard for climate and social issues. An Argentine official confirmed that climate discussions would be a key topic in Macron and Milei's meeting. This initiative comes after Argentina made a striking move earlier this week by abruptly withdrawing its delegation from an international climate summit in Azerbaijan. Argentine media suggested this could signal Milei's intention to follow Trump's lead in withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement, an accord France regards as one of its most significant diplomatic achievements. Macron's perception of Milei's actions as a potential threat appears to have prompted his decision to intervene. However, the very notion of one nation's leader openly attempting to educate another on governance and policy invites controversy and raises questions about diplomatic propriety. A Wall Street Journal report today casts further doubt on Macron's mission, highlighting the camaraderie between Milei and Trump. The piece details Milei's recent appearance at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, where he delivered a speech underscoring their shared values and vision. During the event, Milei expressed enthusiasm about collaborating with Trump's new administration to revive freedom and restore it to its rightful place. He also condemned the woke virus and authoritarianism, calling for a united front to protect Western heritage. Trump, in turn, praised Milei, describing him as a leader who would make Argentina great again. He humorously linked the MAGA slogan to Argentina, pointing out the shared first letter in the 2 countries' names. This mutual admiration leaves little doubt about the alignment of their political ideologies. A stark contrast between 2 stories. These 2 reports paint sharply contrasting pictures of Milei's role in international politics. On one hand, Macron seeks to steer him away from Trump's destructive worldview. On the other, Milei's alignment with Trump is evident in their shared rhetoric and mutual respect. Macron's efforts to redirect Milei toward traditional multilateralism appear futile in the face of the Argentine president's firm embrace of Trump's approach. Argentina's abrupt withdrawal from the climate talks, coupled with Milei's clear support for Trump, suggests that Macron's diplomatic mission may remain symbolic rather than affecting any substantial change. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.